Two sides divided by conference, but a single state border lies between them. It's the first ever meeting between Lexington Sporting Club and Indy 11 on ESPN+. Welcome to the show. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Gary Bailey. Excited to get this first ever meeting started between these two sides. Let's highlight these two units. First off, for the home side, Lexington played in the midweek and in explosive fashion claimed their first ever Open Cup victory.
Yeah, but 5-0. Great finish there. Elliot Goldthorpe dribble and gets it in the back of the net, and then ball squared across here to Alfredo Medense. Gets it in his right foot, brings it to his left, and sticks it in the back of the net.
Lexington victorious there, and it's been a good, clean start for them in their voyage season in the USL Championship. And what a way to start it than with this goal here.
Oh, Joe Haverty, golazo, right towards the top corner. Opening goal in that 2-0 win against Hartford. And then they continued in great style. Marcus Epps at the far post here hits it just in off the post with a deflection, 2-1 up. Unfortunately, they only ended up getting a draw.
And now they've added even more offensive firepower with Corey Berg.
Yeah, the former New York Red Bulls man there sticking it in the back of the net in that 5-0 victory. What an asset to have.
Meanwhile, on the Miami and Indy 11 side of things, this is the only matchup that Indy 11 has played this season, but a pretty smooth and successful one.
James Mooster winning the penalty, which Jack Blake dispatches. Aidan Quinn set up by Chizza there, and he gets the second. What a lovely strike that is. And Pat Hogan gets the header from a free kick. 3 goals, all in the first half.
Maybe the only thing they could complain about in that game is that they couldn't get Edward Chizza going.
Well, at least he got an assist for the Quinn game, but a goal rather, but you're right, he needs to score himself. Got 20 and 80 appearances for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I think he's going to come good for Indy 11 very soon.
Edward Chizza, longtime goal scorer in the league. It's just the second match in the season for the visitors. Can they be the first to tarnish this USL Championship voyage for Lexington? Or will the Bluegrass side keep racing? Lineups at kickoff up next between Lexington and Indy 11.
I shouldn't be here. That's what the first 3 doctors said. That even if I made it to remission, I'd probably never climb again. But I did, because I wanted a different answer. And I found it at UK Healthcare. They took a drug nobody else had yet. 12 rounds of chemo and a 16-person team. But here I am, right where I was never supposed to be.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
We're back here in Lexington. Kickoff impending here. Mark Schoenster and former ex-Man United goalkeeper Gary Bailey with you on the broadcast. Let's take a look at the 22 players that are take the field first in this one, starting with the home side.
Just one change to the side that drew at Orange County. Corey Burke, the former New York Red Bull striker, gets a start. Bradilia Rodriguez drops to the bench. Tough when you consider he's had 2 goals and an assist in the last 3. 4-2-3-1. It will change shape to 3-4-3 as Kieran Sargent pushes up on that left-hand side.
Meanwhile, on the Indy 11 side, If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep, no changes. Why would you? As you say, 3 goals in the first half against Miami FC away from home. Second game only for the initial debutants, Edward Chizza, Bruno Rendone, Pat Hogan, and James Murphy, also in a 4-2-3-1 shape.
Our head official for tonight's match, Luis Arroyo, donning the neon green pro uniform this evening. Everything is good to go. Watch getting set. And we are back here. The third home game of the season for Lexington Sporting Club. And it's another cross-conference clash, although not too far separated geographically. Let's see what this game has in store for us. Another loaded day full of USL Championship excitement. We appreciate you choosing this game out of all the matches you could have chosen. Saw that game in the middle of the week for Lexington, a 5-0 victory over Southern Indiana. First Open Cup win as a club. Also always a fun thing to boast when you score that many goals. And it's 5 different goal scorers as well, as Indy 11 win the ball back, trying to slip it forward.
Yeah, good win, 5-0 in the cup, and they won the opening match against Hartford 2-0 with 2-1 up at Orange County until the 97th minute. That must have been a heartbreaker, especially as goalkeeper Logan Ketcher had his hands on the ball and felt that the goal shouldn't have been allowed. So it's been a very impressive start by Lexington SC, and Terry Boss has got to be looking at this and thinking, you know, we can make the playoffs. That's how good a squad of players he has.
Certainly gotten off to a good start. Giving the ball away here, Rendone trying to square it. Chizza. Rendone gets another touch on it, and it's tapped out for a corner.
I think about Indy 11, they're a very good side as well. As good as Lexington might be, Indy 11 finishing in the top 4 in the East last year and making the semi-finals of the Open Cup. Brilliant achievement by their coach Sean McCauley, and Lexington will have to respect this side. They've got some top-class players, including, of course, their captain Aidan Quinn.
Indy 11 forward, number 16.
So Aiden Stanley tries it low, tapped back, wind-up effort, stays low to the ground. James Murphy attempting to sneak that one through, but it was easy for Ketterer.
A nice build-up to get James Murphy the opportunity. He doesn't really catch it, does he? He doesn't put much power behind it. It's more like a pass than it is a shot. Straight at Logan Ketcher. Nice first touch for the keeper.
Always nice when you can get yourself acclimated into the game early on as a goalie.
Yeah, with a nice easy one and build up from there.
Lexington Sporting Club's injury report is brought to you by UK Healthcare. And that's just what you love to see, no matter what club you are anywhere. That none reported is 100% beautiful to look at.
And it's a big squad with some really good players. I mean, putting Bradilia Rodriguez on the bench after 2 goals and an assist in 3 matches just shows you what they've got. Christian Valeski's there on a short-term contract. Elliot Goldthorpe's got 2 goals in 3 matches. Another good player to have there. So it's a loaded bench.
Tons of riches to dig your hand into as the game wears on. Speedy Williams, another great example of just how fantastic this roster is. All that man knows how to do is win. Sargent, player that unfamiliar with USL play going into this season, but he has gotten himself very involved early on. I'll roll out of play harmlessly here. A 3-1 victory on the road for Indy 11. 2 road games to start the year for Sean McCauley's side. When talking to us, he mentioned that you always take that early goal, a penalty in the opening moments of that game that they put away.
Yeah, in fact, all 3 goals from set pieces. One, a penalty that James Musa won. One from a corner set up by Chizza to Aidan Quinn. And the third one, a free kick, Pat Hogan finishes off. So maybe a warning to Lexington to be careful of set pieces when Indy have the ball.
Already gifted them 1 corner kick, but, and as you mentioned, it was well worked. Just wasn't quite executed on the finishing shot. They did concede a goal in that second half, but Sean McCauley didn't seem too perturbed by that. He mentioned Miami subbing in some players who had something to prove, trying to earn themselves some minutes. He seemed to be more bothered by the fact that they didn't score again in the second half after scoring 3 in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think he picked out a match with Phoenix Rising when they were 4-1 down and came back to 4-4. I think it was away at El Paso. And he just said, look, you know, yeah, we were up 3-0, but I wanted a 4th match, especially when they got to 3-1. He said, I wanted them to kill the game off because Miami FC had a couple of chances at 3-1.
First it's 1, then it's 2, and then anything can happen.
Exactly.
Quickly tossed back into play, but a miscommunication means Lexington get out of harm's way for now. Welcome to the 2025 USL kickoff presented by Terminix. Throughout the month of March, the USL will be kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on ESPN and CBS platforms. This one falling down, and Chizza goes to ground, but nothing of it, says our head official, Luis Arroyo. As far as that 3-1 victory is concerned, Sean McCauley saying, all things considered, being our first game, the positives outweigh the negatives. I think that's a fair assessment when you get a 3-1 victory on the road to start the year.
But it is a good squad. It's a good set of players, and they've been together a while. I guess in comparison, Lexington only kept 3 players from last season. They've brought in 20, and Terry Boss saying to me last week, you know, that was great because he got to pick the players he wanted. He picked players who had the skill, but the personalities as well.
And they might be on the prowl here. Corey Burke, one of those additions, brought in right before the season started, but wasn't quite match fit. Still Burke, squaring it in centrally. Jaffa will wind around with the ball now before dishing it over to Barbier.
And just to finish that point, it's tough for Lexington when 20 new players and only 3 have been at the club, and one of those, Cam Lancaster's, out at the moment. So they're going to have to take a bit of time to get to know each other and get that fluidity going.
There's certainly positives and negatives that come with bringing in so many players like that. As a manager, you don't get that many opportunities to almost build a roster from scratch, but at the same time, you talk about the chemistry side of things. A lot of moving pieces that all need to find where they fit in the mold.
I think all the coaches that would, and you know, what we're hearing on the grapevine is that most of them look at Lexington and think this is a good squad. This is quality. They brought in, you know, players who can make a big difference. And as Rhode Island showed us last season, you get a decent team of players together, which Rhode Island did. You can go a long way in those playoffs.
Rhode Island got off to a slow start last season, which was actually a story for both conference champions last year. So Lexington ahead of the 8 ball in that regard. Now they're trying to poke forward once again. Epps. Low-driven ball inside! And Burke couldn't redirect it on frame.
That was nearly an own goal. Defender at the near post. I thought it knocked it past the keeper. Nice here from Burke. Good skills out wide. Puts it in there, and in fact, it was Corey Burke in the middle, rather. Sorry, he gets his foot in it, and the defender does as well. That's one of those that can easily slip past the keeper into the back of the net.
Today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. And it'll roll out. Lexington will maintain possession. LSC fans, visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC news, merchandise, and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com.
Well, I'm putting that down as a little half chance there. Corey Burke just causing all sorts of problems at the near post. Marcus Epps with the ball from out wide into that danger area. And defender, striker going for the ball, keeper just coming off his line. It all adds up to a possible near post flick into the net. Didn't happen this time, but a little half chance.
Burke with the back heel, played across goal. Ultimately well off target. There was a moment there I was wondering if Corey Burke was off, but he had timed that just right. Ultimately, I feel like I gotta do better there, right?
Got to hit target there, haven't you? You've got to at least make the goalkeeper work in some form or other. Didn't happen. But again, Corey Burke just showing awareness and clever skills there as the leader of the line for Lexington.
He certainly brings that pedigree. The USL on CBS kicks off April 6th with two former USL Championship title winners battling it out. Join us Sunday, April 6th, as undefeated San Antonio FC takes on Western Conference rival Phoenix Rising FC at 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. That'll be an early Western Conference clash. San Antonio will have to make sure that they can stay undefeated with a tough road trip later tonight. Going to what will be a jam-packed Oakland Coliseum.
What sort of crowd are they expecting? In excess of 20,000.
I believe they've now hit 25,000 tickets sold. So,
wow,
going to be up there in the USL record books. Yeah, what a night that'll be. Over there in Oakland. Firmino feeds it to the left. Quinn pushing it forward. Deflect over into the penalty area. It's handled by Ketterer.
Good to see Aidan Quinn on the ball there for Indy 11. Real legend in the USL. 6th on the table of all-time goal contributions. And 105, 55 goals and 50 assists. Wow, what a record in the USL.
And it's his birthday today. Happy 33rd.
Oh, is it? Wow. Well, he'd love a goal on his birthday, no doubt, to add to the one he got in the opening game against Miami FC.
Technically on back-to-back goals scored, having scored in the playoff game last year and then scoring in the season opener last week against Miami. Epps brings this one down, the deflection. Another dangerous moment.
Marcus Epps causing all sorts of problems down that right-hand side, and as you say, just, you know, a little bit of luck that bounces into the net. Shafal, lovely little ball over the top. As a defender, you're putting your foot out. You've got no idea where that ball's going to go. You just hope it's a decent block, and it was on that occasion.
Lexington continually testing their luck here. And now they've got another Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick. That'll be Jafal to provide the service. Diving header knocks it away. And a lackluster effort there. Cheers to local beer. West 6th Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally craft beers all around the state of Kentucky. From the flagship West 6th IPA to Sixer Light Lager, there's something for everyone. Head to west6th.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer sponsor of Lexington SC.
Good high press there from Lexington, forcing Indy to go long, and they lost possession in the process. You just wonder, Lexington having had 3 games, you mentioned it up front, Indy just the one because they had a bye in the Open Cup, having reached the semi-finals. So you just think maybe those 3 games, Lexington more into the groove at this moment than Indy 11 are.
Yeah, those Open Cup midweek fixture games can be a give and take. Talking to Sean McCauley, he said that, look, we were watching as much of it as we could, and when it comes to Lexington, you could argue that in some cases that's 90 more minutes on the legs and that's wear and tear, but at this point in the season, you could also say it's 90 valuable minutes that these teams are continuing to figure themselves out.
Yeah, I think only maybe 3 or 4 of the current lineup actually played in that match for Lexington. A lot of their subs played, and those that did play probably didn't play the full 90. So yeah, I think it's more valuable for Lexington. A good chance for Terry Boss there in picture to give some of his bench players a run out. And they scored a whole ton of goals, some of them, and we mentioned Bradilia Rodriguez on the bench. And there's a couple of players they haven't picked, but Elliot Goldthorpe got another goal. So he's on the bench as well. Alfredo Medense not even on the bench, and he looked really good. Lucas Stoffer, he's not on the bench either. So it just shows you that the depth that Lexington do have.
Yeah, what more do you need to do than a goal and 3 assists in a match to get into the 18?
That's Medense, yeah. Interesting, the XG on that night, 2.82 to 0.18. So poor Southern Indiana never really had a chance in that match. They were just defending for the full 90 minutes, I think.
No mercy from this Lexington side, even with the roster rotation. And honestly, that might have been another indicator of why it was such a brutal performance, because those guys are all hungry to prove themselves.
Yep, that's a fair point. That's the good thing about having a quality, large squad. It's a real battle for every position on the pitch.
Williams, always patient with the ball at his feet. You talked about earlier about the ability to practically build a roster from the ground up for Lexington. Sean McCauley here in his second year, happier about the squad he's been able to assemble because he's been able to find guys that more fit that character and the play style that he's looking to assemble and create here. He mentioned he doesn't need to micromanage as much this season because the guys know what he's about because he's already been here for a year, but also he's bringing in players who fit that mold for what they're looking for.
Yeah, 100%. I think as a coach, the first season, if you're given a squad, you've got to figure it out, but then you can bring your own, the players you say to your style.
Epps curling this one inside. Sargent back in the mixer. Cleared away by Indy. Here's another chance. Epps. Now rolls out wide. Not a bad looking ball. Sargent drills it inside, deflected out.
Really good pressure coming in from Lexington SC. I mean, this is a top class side there. There's Sean McCauley. They finished top 4 last year and semi-finals of Open Cup, and they've been given the runaround at the moment by Lexington. The pressure it's coming from the home side, and all those red shirts, bodies on the line there to try and block that ball from getting through to Hunter Salt.
Waves upon waves of opportunities, and now another Commonwealth Credit Union quarter kick. And Jaffa will take it from the left flag this time. They've been knocking on the door. Can they kick it down?
Doesn't seem as if anybody wants the ball there. It's going from one side to the other.
It looked like it was going to be a moment of reprieve for Indy 11, but Lexington back on it. Possession exchanged multiple times, and the boys in the black jerseys back on top of it. The way the game's going right now, you just smell a goal coming for the home side.
They've got 7 of their first 9 games at home, Lexington, so if you're Terry Boss, you've got to be thinking, if we play well at home, we can get off to an unbelievable start and get ourselves high up that table, just in case there's injuries, in case things go a bit wrong during the season. If you have a great start, then it just lifts the confidence, gets the fans in the stadium, and so far, a win at home, a draw away from home, a win in the cup, and looking very good already here today.
Well, that's always the formula, right? If you can consistently win at home and consistently get some points on the road, then you're going to have a pretty good season.
You probably finish top of the table with that return of points.
Oh, yeah.
Or very close anyway.
Barbier throwing it out to Sargent. Talked a little bit about his unique role on this team as a member of that back line, but when they're on the attack, he gets up there.
Yeah, that's how it changes shape. 4-2-3-1 when they're resting, but the moment they attack, he pushes up, leaving 3 at the back, gets himself right up that wing and creates a 3-4-3 shape for Lexington SC.
A line composed of Sargent, Danny Barbier, Kendall Burks, and Joe Hafferty. Well, at least the 3 that are left in the back having a good wealth of experience, and then Sargent, some youthful energy. It also helps too when you have Sofiane Jafal and Speedy Williams to back you up there in the middle of the pitch. Beer rolls it ahead to Epps. Marcus Epps one-on-one with the defender. Epps still going. Curled ball inside for Burke. The volley from Firmino. Couldn't hit it clean.
Terry Boss applauding that, and they played so well through the press out of the back. Built that up. I mean, that is excellent football, really is. Shot wasn't that great, unfortunately, hits it into the ground. Frustration there from Corey Burke, but to play through the press the way they did, Speedy Williams just playing it out brilliantly. It's excellent football from Terry Boss's side.
Now Blake with real estate sends it to Rendone. Bruno Rendone with the cross. Chizza was fishing for it. And a collision in the worst kind. Oh.
Yeah. Hafferty. They clashed heads big time. You can see the blood pouring out of his eye. That's a bad cut, and he's going to have to come off, I would think, from that. Brave defending, but strikers coming in absolutely clattered him after the ball.
Always one of the more dangerous sequences in the sport when 2 players go up to head the ball, and when 2 heads knock against each other, you always have to hold your breath.
Yeah, and it's that part of your face that can get cut around the eyes. If it's sort of top of the head to top of the head, it's painful, but that's the hard part of your head. It's the front part around your nose and eyes. When that gets hit by somebody else's top of their head, then you generally come off second best. That's exactly what's happened to Joe Hafferty. I think they'll already be looking at the bench because the amount of blood, and that probably, I'm not a medic, but that probably needs a lot of stitches. And don't know if you'll be able to continue, because with that sort of cut, how do you then head the next ball that comes in?
Right, exactly.
And you do more damage and make the cut worse. So I'm guessing they're looking at their bench right now, deciding whether Gail Gibert comes on. He's the natural defender in that situation. Maybe Jacob Green could come and do a defensive job. Good to see him up on his feet anyway.
Certainly. Joe Hafferty, brave in his defensive work. Taking the sacrifice for the team there to prevent Edward Chizza from getting on the ball, especially against the run of play.
It's something that probably every player gets at least once in the course of a long career. You're going to get hit. Sometimes it's an elbow in the face, and if you're a goalkeeper, it's a boot in the face, but it always ends up with a really bad cut. And as I say, that just can't see any way in which he'll continue with that level of damage done to his face.
Good to see him walking off. And a yellow card's been issued to Edward Chizza. Yellow card brought to you by Hicks in Fumpson.
Yeah, I guess if you go for the ball and you miss the ball and you get the player, then yep, that's going to get you a yellow card. I mean, there was no nastiness. He was going for the ball, clearly. There was nothing horrible in what he was trying to do, but the rules such as if you miss the ball, you get the player, then you will end up in the referee's book.
An accidental violent act is still a violent act.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Chizza, he also may need to be checked on, because although you mentioned when you get hit on the top of your head, it's not as bad, but still have you seen stars for a moment.
Yeah. And I think there's also a concussion protocol. I think they have to go off and be seen by the medical staff. And the referee doing a good job there, Luis Arroyo, ensuring the safety of the players.
And that substitution pending, and it's the name we were anticipating, Gael Jabert. Frenchman will have to step in. We've already talked quite a bit about the depth on this side, and look, when you bring in a guy who has quite the resume, having spent a lot of good time at FC Cincinnati 2 last season, played at Oregon State, which is where Terry Boss spent some time, so some overlap there, and then also was a champion on that Clemson team.
He started off in France at a club called Clermont Foot, and that has been a team in the top level. They sort of bounce between top level and second level, but a very, very decent upbringing in French football.
So the young center back steps in. Next man up. So Hafferty makes his exit. We wish all the best for him and hope that the stitches needed are minimal. Chizza's wave back on. Now, of course, you have all the proceedings that collision provides, but also a chance for Indy 11 to catch their breath for a second after that onslaught of attacks from Lexington.
Well, they've weathered the storm so far, Indy, and there's some good defending, some thrown bodies on the line, but they'll know they're in a big and difficult match here. Not like Miami FC, they were 3-0 up almost by this stage. They're all first half goals for Indy. This is a whole different level of team here, with all due respect to Miami FC. This is a very, very good Lexington SC team that Terry Boss has put together.
Watching Lexington Sporting Club host Indy 11. First ever meeting between these two sides. Not quite as close as Louisville and Indianapolis, but not too much extra distance on top of that, and that's a pretty big rivalry. And although these two are separated by conference at the moment, with expansion teams itching to get in, as we'll hold that thought. Blake tripped up, whistle blown, and that's going to be a booking.
There's a possibility of a second booking there, because I thought it was Chizza was absolutely blocked there on that counter-attack. Good professional foul coming in from Lexington. I think that's what the referee is explaining to James Murphy.
Here's a look at it. Yep.
Yeah, as possession's lost, there you go, wins it, and then, well, I don't know if the defender can get out the way or not of Chizza going down, but that second one is the free kick, and that's where the yellow's been given, I assume.
Jack Beer going through Jack Blake. Will be Beer's first yellow card of the season. And now some potential danger here on the set piece. You mentioned 3 goals, all off the set piece in the first half of their first game.
Well, especially when Aidan Quinn is lining up. That man has got a wand of a left foot. So just make sure, Logan Ketcher, that when you line up the wall, you line it up properly. They actually had a preseason match at Lexington against Inter Miami. They played against Messi, Busquets, Suarez. So having seen Messi take free kicks, maybe they've learned a few lessons as to how to defend them here.
Not too many better at it. good distance away from goal as well, but of course when you get too close, then the question of can you get up and over the wall and back down comes into play. So it's Jack Blake, service, off target.
Ooh, for a second I thought it was going in. You got it over the wall, and you had Logan Ketcher scrambling, and maybe it missed by more than I thought. Let's have a look here. Maybe a yard wide. Goalkeeper's stretching though. He was a little bit concerned at first.
Jack Blake taking that one. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. So 30 minutes into this one, Lexington has been the primary side knocking on the door. Indy 11 with a couple of opportunities themselves. Collision necessitating a first half substitution. Gail Jabert stepping into the game for Joe Hafferty. Hafferty scoring that thunderbolt of a goal in their USL Championship opener, the first goal of the USL Championship season in general. Unfortunately, though, his evening coming to an early conclusion. Barbier looking to connect. Sargent collects. I mentioned this Lexington team. The talk of the town in USL is how they've assembled their roster, but Sean McCauley mentioned that they're a very flexible team. Talked about how they can get back to their block and then shift into attack mode going forward. Obviously, we've touched base on the Kieran Sargent situation and what his role in this lineup and style is. Chizza pulling it out to Rendone.
We're talking about Lexington having all these new players, but there's been a few debuts for Indy 11. Last match out, Pat Hogan, who got one of the goals, James Murphy, Bruno Rendone, Hayden White, Edward Chizza, and then the sub, Oliver Breneus, all came on for their debuts. So it's a whole bunch of new faces to fit into the Indy side as well. So it'll take a while. It takes a while for every club to settle at the start of a season, because every single club has a whole ton of new players, but none more so than Lexington when you start with 20 new players having only kept 3. That's the biggest sort of turnover out of the entire USL.
And the fun part about those 3 is that none of them are in the 18 today, so.
Yeah, Cam Lancaster played the opening match. I haven't seen him since. I don't know if he picked up a bit of an injury. He was one of the 3 kept. And on his day could be a top-class player for them, but just don't know if he's still got that little bit of pace needed.
Yeah, 1 or 2 other players out on loan in the USL landscape. Rendone tried to pick a corner, but it was ever rising.
Just going through the sort of motion there, just wondering why his left foot didn't make the connection he wanted. Sean McCauley there. Lots of experience for the man who played his football in Yorkshire. In fact, he started at Manchester United, I believe, there as a young player, and had a spell in the coaching staff at Minnesota United.
Now in his 2nd year as the head man here at Indy 11. Earned a couple of accolades last season in year number 1. Now as the coach, 19, 13, and 9. That 13 being the losses, of course. If you want to go by the European, it would be 19, 9, and 13.
Yeah, Terry Boss on the other side of it, just sort of starting off, kicking off his tenure in the USL. And we asked him, he said he aims to play attacking, inspiring soccer. He said his aim is to make the players better so they can move on to better things. That seems to be the aim.
And they may be aiming for goal here. Epps in the 18, tries the shot. Now he heads it along. Firmino was in a good spot, but he couldn't put it on frame.
Got some power behind it, Nick Firmino. And he tried, you can see what he was trying to do, stick it in the top corner there. Ball goes up, good win, Marcus Epps. There, he picks his spot. You can see his neck aiming towards that top corner, but just didn't get the direction right.
So some good news on the Joe Hafferty front. We got the chance to take a look at the damage. No fracture, just a cut on his face, which you mentioned, just that sensitive area. Right around the eyebrow is another booking coming out here.
Problem for him, though, is even when the stitches go in, you probably can't play for a while, because how do you head the ball? And so I think, unfortunately for him, he could be out for a good few weeks until that cut heals.
So that's our third yellow card. So it's going to be a time delay booking here. So a ball that was set down was kicked away, killing some time. So it was Sofiane Jeffal of Lexington being given the yellow, his second of the season.
This is where I get on my soapbox and say, you want to give away cheap yellows like that? You've only got to trip up someone and get a second yellow and off, and then you can't complain at the referee. Said time and time again as a professional player, if you're going to pick up a yellow, do it for a good reason. Professional foul, edge of the box, something you have to do to stop the opposition. Maybe it's a mistimed tackle, but you were trying to get there and do the right thing. But just to delay the play and pick up a yellow, if it does come back to him, I'll be going, up, told you so.
Something about stupid games and stupid prizes. Rendone playing it back. Low-driven ball dealt with easily. Corey Burke colliding there, I believe, with Pat Hogan. Indy will maintain possession. See if they can generate something here. Fans, visit lexsporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. Purchase the brand new kits, scarves, and hats and more to show off your club pride. That's lexsporting.com. Get that black kit they're donning today. They were wearing a wonderful kit on Wednesday. Their bourbon uniform. Seen some involvement today from Marcus Epps, and that match against Orange County was his 200th USL regular season appearance. He's played over 15,000 minutes in USL Championship, so what a vet to the game. Got asked about it post-game. Sargent tracking back to get this ball. He said, I feel blessed to be able to reach such an achievement in my career. He's been involved over on that right-hand side, generated a couple of opportunities. Play will go on. And now Indy are going to get a free kick.
It's a very good achievement there when you play that many games and that many minutes, Marcus Epps, as it is for Aidan Quinn. He's third all time in minutes played. Just see they're coming together, nothing too serious. Fifth all time in assists, Aidan Quinn. So two players, one on each side, who have really been stalwarts in the USL Championship.
Another way to put it, two OGs out there. So far, been two solid sides going after each other. Lexington, perhaps the side with the better of the opportunities, but Indy 11, stalwart defensively.
It seems to have balanced out a bit. It certainly was a good spell for Lexington, and they had Indy defending in numbers, but last sort of 10-15 minutes, Indy back into it. They've been pressing as well, and it's almost got to a little bit of a stalemate. We're waiting for someone to turn on the magic and do something a little bit special to break this game open.
Who can make that play that could break open the matchup? Lamb's always involved with the ball. Well, send it in centrally, and Lexington now survey best course forward. This one rolled ahead, too far ahead of Beer and Epps. Get the latest Lexington SC news right at your fingertips by downloading the official mobile app, powered by Fan 360. Get access to exclusive content while shopping for season tickets and LSC gear, all in the Lexington SC Fan app. He's got to keep up to date as a fan, including when new matchups get added to the schedule. For example, when you win an Open Cup game and you have a draw, and you find out you're going to play Columbus Crew 2 on April 1st, which is not this Tuesday coming up, but the Tuesday after in Open Cup Round 2. Indy 11, of course, still waiting for their entrance into the competition. They won't be until the third round. Stanley ripping that one up the field. Chiza playing it ahead. Malik Foster. I haven't said his name a lot today. Quinn. Loose touch. Just got away from him from a moment. Malik Foster was all over the place in that game against Miami. So far has not been allocated the space to do too much with the ball.
And looking at his stats in his second year at Indy 11, just 1 goal in 14 appearances. Always see him as a potential goal scorer, but those figures maybe don't just show you the talent he has. He can get in on goals, just hasn't done enough, I agree with you, as yet.
Tried to chip that over to Sargent after he passed it away, combining with Firmino. Get a chunk of minutes added on here due to that collision earlier in the match.
Real low block here for Indy 11. Everyone behind it in the final third of the pitch, and basically saying to Lexington, you want the ball on the halfway line, it's fine, but the moment you start closing in, that's when we're going to tackle you, and that's pretty much what they've done.
They've drawn the line. Able to escape there, James Murphy. 2 Lexington jerseys closing in on him. So nearly 45 minutes through on this one. Still scoreless between these two sides that we anticipate to be contenders in their respective conferences.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see both these teams making the playoffs and possibly even both making the top four. They're two very good outfits. Sean McCauley's already shown what he can do, and I think Terry Boss has put together a really good side. So we've got the managers for the job. And maybe the second half we'll see it come to life. Maybe they'll start sort of both wanting to go for goal, wanting to open up a little bit. Right now it's still a little bit cat and mouse, both appreciating how good the other is.
And there's certainly been respect afforded to each side. Corey Burke taken to ground. Another booking. And this one goes to James Musa, the veteran defender.
That wasn't just a booking, that was nearly wrestling. He got away, big Corey Burke there, and James Musa knew he was in trouble, so he's just hung on there. He's holding, he's eventually brought him down to ground. But you see, now that's a yellow card that you say, okay, ball bounced, the striker was away, I took one for the team.
Yeah.
That's a fair enough from a coach's point of view. I think you would say it's a fair enough yellow. Stopping a quick free kick in the middle of the park where it can't do much danger, or not even stopping it, you weren't stopping it, kicking the ball away. It's just a ridiculous way to get a yellow. That's just my opinion, but I'm sure his coach will be thinking of something different. Don't touch the referee, it's a foul. Some referees do not like you touching them. You can't go grabbing their arm.
He's also already on a yellow too, Jafal.
Very good point.
So that yellow card brought to you by Hickson Pumpson. You see 5 minutes added on here. And a potential dangerous set piece for the home team. Ball sent inside, back in the mixer. Tic-tac-toe for Lexington.
The whistle must have gone. Was it offside? Jabir, the substitute, thought he had got the opening goal. And whistle went. We'd have to see it again to see why he was offside, but unlucky Lexington. Thought they got the breakthrough moment. Good ball into the box, header far post. Let's have a look. I wonder if he's offside from that. Is the flag going up? Not there.
He's certainly not off there.
No, he's not. Is there a player in front of the goalkeeper that stops him from seeing where the ball is? I think big Corey Burke was there, but okay, interesting why that was given, but it has been given, and that's it.
The decision is final. Chiza trying to wrestle off Kendall Burks. Looking to make it quite the goal swing here. Be sure to visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC merchandise and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. So a goal taken off the board for the home team.
It's interesting when you watch a game without VAR, and a lot of people actually prefer that. They like the immediacy of a game. They don't want to stop and wait. But if there is VAR, we go over that with a fine-tooth comb. We figure it out. We draw lines. Eventually a decision's made. Without it, it's just referee's decisions final. Game goes on, and there are some purists I know who actually almost prefer it that way.
Well, there's definitely a throw of people that prefer perhaps maybe a goal here and there that should have counted or should have been called off go through. I'll take that mistake every now and then over the countless times the officiating crew ends up going to that little monitor outside the pitch and pour over all the footage. Lexington. They'll feel hard done. Now they need to be firm on the defensive side of things as Indy 11 asks the question. Blake Lofting it inside, Rendone couldn't reach it. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Nearing halftime here between these two sides. Ketter being urged to get this one going.
He hasn't had a lot to do. I don't think either goalkeeper, Logan Ketter or on the other side, Hunter Salt, have had many saves to make and certainly not any big ones. So that just gives you a sense of how tight this game is and not much to choose between the two teams at halftime.
Well, there's the whistle. One goal taken off. It's 0-0 between Lexington and Indy 11. We felt we might have an even game, and we've gotten one after 45 plus. So both these teams will go into the dressing room, figure out what they can do to find that edge. And like Gary said earlier, perhaps both will have a little bit more gumption in the second half to go for all 3 points. With that in mind, while they're taking a break, we're going to step aside briefly, but then we'll bring it back to you here on ESPN Plus to catch you up on all the content here. 0-0 after 45.
UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine offers comprehensive treatments for bone, joint, and muscle disorders and injuries of all types, from complex repairs to complete replacements. UKHealthcare.com, the power of advanced medicine.
Race to the top.
You're on.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Raise it back down.
So kick it up a notch with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union, the official credit union of Lexington SC.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine offers comprehensive treatments for bone, joint, and muscle disorders and injuries of all types, from complex repairs to complete replacements. UKHealthcare.com, the power of advanced medicine.
Back here at Lexington SC Stadium in Lexington, Kentucky, where it is a 0-0 scoreline after 45 minutes between the home side and the visiting Indy 11. Mark Schoenster with you here on ESPN Plus. Let's take a look at all of the highlight moments from League One and USL Championship from last week. Here are the goals and saves of the week.
Espinal's gone a little more forward. He's gotten the ball now. He's taken down. Play goes on. This is O'Dwyer! Levy stands tall and goes airborne.
Knoxville brings their numbers upward. Try from distance into the box. Kelly, he scores! Angelo Kelly in stoppage time ties this game at 2.
Usan searching ahead. Is there a plot twist for Rhode Island? Cuts it back! And just over the bar. A massive opportunity goes begging for Bruno in his first involvement.
Sacco. Locomotive gets that cleared. Oh, the lob gets in for the goal! My goodness gracious! Traore catches Jamali Wade off his line and just blasts it from over midfield.
Some great goals and great saves last week. Maybe we'll have a winner in this one in the second half. Only one way to find out, and that's to stay locked in here on ESPN+.
Wilson tiptoed the line. Wilson! Brilliant!
He has been on fire at Tampa Bay!
Cross forward, put down by Gagi! The hero! Let's go!
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
And it's a tremendous finish! San Antonio FC!
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
We're back here on ESPN+, scoreless after 45. But we have time now to talk about everything going on across the league in the USL. And Gary, there's a couple of big talking points here, but I want to ask you about the implementation of ProRel because that is massive news for the league.
Brilliant, love it. I mean, coming from England, it's how we believe the system should be. And you're going to have so much fun watching teams battle for promotion and relegation every season. So well done to USL for bringing this in, and just can't wait until it starts.
It's going to take some of that magic we see in the US Open Cup where little teams get the chance to punch up. Maybe they get the chance to move up and then play in a league with some places, some clubs from bigger cities, and have some opportunities to really make a name for themselves, earning the right to play at whatever division they should play in. With that in mind, though, let's pivot over to what we've got going around the league as it stands right now. A couple of games already gone full time, including a Greg Hurst game winner against El Paso.
Yep. Detroit City held by Birmingham Legion. Birmingham needed those points. Louisville stopping Loudoun's big run. Tampa Bay Rowdies got a win at last, although Miami FC struggling as they always seem to do, or the last couple of seasons anyway. And New Mexico United, as you mentioned, a very, very good win against El Paso. 2 wins in their last 2. And that's great news for new coach Dennis Sanchez.
With that, we've still got a lot of games still coming on the docket. That in mind, we're going to step aside now. When we come back, we will have the highlights, the stats, and most importantly, the second 45 for you here on ESPN+. 0-0 between Lexington and Indy. We'll see if that changes after this.
I shouldn't be here. That's what the first 3 doctors said. that even if I made it to remission, I'd probably never climb again. But I did, because I wanted a different answer, and I found it at UK Healthcare. They took a drug nobody else had yet, 12 rounds of chemo, and a 16-person team. But here I am, right where I was never supposed to be.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building a future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
Second half on deck here on ESPN+. Will Lexington or Indy find all 3 points in this one? We're about to find out here in a moment. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Gary Bailey, former keeper for Manchester United. In case you're just now hopping on, let's catch you up on all the action from the first 45 minutes of action. These two sides' first ever meeting in any competition, not just in the USL Championship. It would be Lexington who would have the early flurry in this one and a couple of good chances.
Yeah, Marcus Epps, great cross there from Marcus Epps to Corey Burke at the near post. Nearly gets the flick on. Goalkeeper started to come. There might have been a gap there from just to tip that into the back of the net.
And the opportunities would keep on coming for the home side. A couple of good looks, but none of them could quite connect on.
Yeah, that's Sofiane Jafar. What a lovely little back heel there from Corey Burke. Absolutely brilliant awareness of where players were around him.
And on the other side of things, a free kick from Jack Blake. Couldn't put it on frame. Indy 11 would continue to hang on. And then they thought, Lexington at least, that they had found the goal to take the lead. But the ref waves it off. And we stay at 0-0.
Just looking at Chabert, as the free kick was taken, he might have been just in an offside position. A couple of those black shirts were the wrong side of the defenders. I think that's what he was blown up for. But if you look at the stats, Lexington 7 shots to 3, only 1 on target. So you could start to ask, if you're Terry Boss, I need better accuracy. They've had more possession. They've had more corners. They've had a goal disallowed. They've had a few little half chances. Expected goals is 0.34 for Lexington and just 0.09 for Indy. So Indy effectively haven't been an attacking force at all. They've certainly controlled some of the possession in midfield, but it's been a half dominated by Lexington, but no goals to show for it, so they're going to try and do something in the second half.
And 1 point worth touching base on that the highlights or stats weren't able to cover for you, and that is the exit of Joe Hafferty after a collision with Edward Chiza. Busted open his eyebrow, so he subbed out Gail Javert, who thought for a moment he had the goal to take the lead in this one, subbing in the first half. One other significant event to take place. So we'll switch ends and see what comes of it from here. Sun fully set now, the floodlights much needed. Luis Arroyo making sure all the boxes are checked before sending this one back into action. Not a bad night to play some footy. 52 degrees in Lexington, Kentucky. Getting out of those cold winter months in Kentucky, and before you know it, it'll be the blistering summer. So while 52 degrees might still feel a little chilly, we're gonna be wishing it was 52 degrees in a couple of months. So here is Lexington to start things off once more. More positive in the first half than their opposition. But when the scoreline reads as it does, that means it's still anyone's game to take.
And I think subs could have or could play a major part in this if it does stay this close. You've got Rodriguez, we mentioned 2 goals and an assist on the bench for Lexington. And on top of that, you've got Goldthorpe. He's got 2 goals and 3. Valesky, Christian Valesky, if you want a target man, all options for Lexington.
Epps right across the center, and Nick Firmino plays it down the middle. Needs to pick a side there.
It's a good effort, lovely build-up. Marcus Epps again causing problems on that right-hand side. And to give Firmino credit, he gets to the ball and he's stretching, so it doesn't have the sort of latitude to pick his spots. He does well to get to it, as he did to the header in the first half, just unable to find that target either side of the goalkeeper.
Hunter Salt able to let that one go straight to him. A 22-year-old goalkeeper from Anchorage, Alaska. Lexington looking to pick up how they started in the first half and had that little extra bit of quality in the final third. You mentioned a lot of good goal-scoring options already early in the season, proven goal-scoring options coming from the bench.
Certainly is. I think for Indy 11, they've got a couple of players they can bring on, maybe not the same goal-scoring ability, but Elvis Amo's on the bench, Oliver Bruneus, Finn McNabb and Cam Lindley, all good players to bring on if needed.
Epps having his way, played across, dangerous ball, no one could reach it.
Aiden Stanley been given a tough time down that left fullback position for Indy 11. Marcus Epps absolutely fantastic. The 30-year-old just dropping a shoulder to go left, then he goes right, gets down to the line, whips it in the box, and can't find Corey Burke or anybody else in there, but certainly it's causing Aiden Stanley a few problems. He needs a bit of help there from James Musa. Come and get some support on that left-hand side.
And a tango from Marcus Epps. Dancing with the ball at his feet. Rolling effort there. Nothing of it. Shiza taps this one out to Malik Foster. And now, Indy 11 with their first foray into the attacking half. Rendone, rolling ball dealt with. A traveling contingent here, you can see them right behind where the throw will be taken. Not the longest of treks that you might anticipate when you find out your next opponent is a Western Conference foe. Talked about it a little bit the opening week of the season, that Lexington being located in the Western Conference does mean I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. So Foster's able to get to this one. See if Indy 11 can conjure up anything with the ball here. Of course, they'll be looking to involve the likes of Aiden Quinn. got him back in the middle of last season after suffering an injury. Took him a while to get back to match fitness, and was able to get to that point at the end of that season, and of course scoring in that final game, that playoff match, and then scoring in their opening match this season. Brings that experience, that resume, and he's also just a good character to have around the building, according to Sean McCauley.
Well, they're hoping with him in the team and back to fitness, they can finish in the top 4 with their 3rd year in a row, which, again, they don't probably get enough credit, Indy 11, for how consistently good they are. And they had 2 of their players in the USL Team of the Week after that victory over Miami FC, Jack Blake and Pat Hogan. I think, if I'm not correct, Joe Hafferty got in the Team of the Week in week 1.
This one glancing away. Chizzo was searching for it. Pat Hogan can't believe the decision. Pretty hefty collision.
I think Pat Hogan got the ball first, but if you clatter someone in the process, yeah, it's a difficult one. He gets the ball first, Pat Hogan. He sort of comes around the side to get it, but they both take a fall, so he would argue that having won the ball, it was just a natural collision afterwards. However, referee sees it differently, and we move on.
The decision is the decision.
Yeah.
That is a prevailing thought process across sport, that a ref makes his choice up, and you as a player just have to play with whatever they give you. It's not like arguing your case is going to make them change their mind. And there's no VAR, as previously mentioned, to go back and review a decision.
It doesn't stop the players arguing, though.
No, it does not.
They will debate and argue and go and rant and rave at the ref, probably because they know this decision won't be overturned. They're hoping to influence the ref for the next decision.
Another level of the gamesmanship. Gilbert lets that one get away from him.
Right in front of his manager, Terry Boss, who wasn't impressed with that.
That's one of those situations, though, where I believe as a manager, you don't really need to say anything because the player knows full well what went wrong there. Burke lets that one come to him. Corey Burke in the 18, still Burke. He fires, smothered by Hogan.
He did so well, Corey Burke, there to avoid so many players, just couldn't get his shot in.
And that ball stays in bounds. Williams sends it forward. Sargent with a deflection earns the side of corner kick. So this will be our first Lexington SC corner kick presented by Commonwealth Credit Union of the second half.
They often say in professional soccer, when you're stuck at 0-0, sometimes it's the set pieces that can separate you. Just a decent ball into the box. As good a defender as you are, if the ball comes in and someone gets a touch or player gets in front of you, it can be hard to defend. So let's see what Sofiane Jafal can provide here, the Frenchman.
He'll play it short. Now it's a different angle to cross it in, just over the head of, I believe, Kendall Burks.
Such a pity there, because if you just get it in where all the bodies are, I mean, it's easier said than done. You're whipping it in, you can tend to overhit it, but you just need that quality in the box. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to defend against when a good ball gets put into that danger area.
Chizzo will leave it behind for Stanley to toss in. Talking to Sean McCauley about his side and developing identity, he mentioned it's still very early in the season, of course, this being just match day number 2 for his team. We still have time to figure out exactly what it looks like for us this season, but we know we want to get off to a good start. And I want to see fight, high work rate, and consistently causing the other side problems. So for him, it's more about a mentality thing than any. As this one, nervy moment there for Ketterer. Chizza. Moving that one back to Epps. Foster rolling that one ahead. There's a dangerous pass back.
It's good pressure from Marcus Epps to force the error from Foster.
That's not how I play the sport. Burke might have whiffed on the pass, but it actually did him a favor.
I thought that was a free kick, to be honest.
On the same boat.
I thought Corey Burke got brought down. But again, we get the chance to see it from different angles, perhaps, or the referee's got to make a split second decision, and a player can run in front of him as that happens. So.
Now can Indy 11 push in the other direction. Foster with some room to work with. Now it's 1-on-2. Wisely gets it away. Blake making a run. It's fed his direction. White poking it ahead, searching for James Murphy. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us-select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. That's us.select-sport.com. Select, the player's choice.
Just wondering when we're going to see the subs. So that's sort of time of the game where coaches start looking at their bench, thinking, how do I impact the game? Is anybody tiring? Can I bring on someone who can do something different, maybe test the opponent's defense in a different way?
Getting some soon here for the home side. Beer. Nowhere to go with it, so he'll withdraw. I'd love for Lexington fans at home to take a wild guess, the two players who are making their way into the game here soon.
Good to hear that there are substitutes coming on. I think it means livening up. Generally, when you bring fresh legs on and a new player, they just bring a whole different energy to the game. It has to be the goal scorers, I would think. The ones who have already scored goals who are most likely to come on.
Epps put into a bind. Now Chizza squares it to Blake. Bruno Rendone feeds it right back to Blake. Rendone can pick it up again. Blake with the service, headed down. Bruno Rendone smashes it in. Indy 11 up top.
What a good finish there from their new signing, Bruno Rendone. Strikes that, puts so much power behind it. And it gives goalkeeper absolutely no chance whatsoever. Logan Ketterer, that's a good finish. That's what you want when you join a club. Ball into the danger area, knocked out. Brings it down really well with his right foot. brings it across onto his left so he can finish. The clearance not the best. You've got to say defensively you want to head that anywhere but in the center of your box, but sometimes you just react instinctively. There you go, touches it, gets it down, and absolutely wallops that towards the top corner. Yeah, settle the celebrations, but wow, what a goal.
Couldn't have said it better myself. A walloped finish from Bruno Rendone. His first goal with Indy 11. His first goal at the USL Championship level after spending some time with the USL League One side, Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Last year was the USL League One Defender of the Year because he played most of the year at that fullback position, though he cheated up very far ahead throughout his time there. I mean, to the point that he was the leading goal scorer in the first edition of the Jägermeister Cup. 9 goals in 8 matches in that competition. Now, a response on the other end for Lexington. 2 substitutions brought in. And if you guessed that Elliot Goldthorpe and Cordelio Rodriguez were subbing into the game, you would be correct. Goldthorpe in for Jack Beer. Rodriguez in for Corey Burke.
Well, they both got goals, haven't they?
Yes, they do.
Goldthorpe's got 2. Rodriguez got 2 and an assist in their last 3 matches. So you're bringing on players who have found the back of the net already.
Blake rolling it ahead for Foster. Can he keep it in play? The assistant says no. Now, when those substitutions were readying, the call was, could they liven up the game? But now the question is, you've got to find something.
Yeah, there was a late tackle there. Kendall Burks has got a yellow card because of it. It was well after the ball had left, so.
His first yellow.
Yeah, let's have a look at it again. See there, it's played and just catches the player who flicks the ball on. So, and from behind as well, it's always going to get you into trouble.
It looked like he landed on the left boot.
By the way, the header out for that goal, that wonderful strike from Bruno Rendone, was from Speedy Williams, of all players, and I'm thinking it up. You don't want to head it back into the middle of your goal or towards the center. You want to maybe head it back for a corner, or out for a corner rather, or back where it came from the side. Of all the players to do it, it's probably their most experienced player, the 32-year-old Jamaican. But sometimes, as I say, if it comes over the head of someone else, you haven't even got time to react. You just get a head on it. It goes wherever it's going to go. So it's not picking out Speedy Williams and blaming him. It's just thought he might have, if anyone was able to deflect it away from trouble, it would have been him.
So a change on the back line. Coming in for Sean McCauley. Hayden White will make his exit, and Ben Ofemu will sub in. It's Ofemu's first look of the year for Indy 11. After 28 appearances last season for this same side. Also had a goal and assist. So looking to see this one to the finish line now. Lexington SC fans, be sure to join us tomorrow. That's Sunday, March 23rd at 4 p.m. at LSC Stadium to support our women's team as they take on Carolina Ascent FC. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com.
This is a good test for Lexington SC. Not that Orange County away wasn't last week, it certainly was, but Indy 11, another very, very good side, and play possibly similarly to Lexington in terms of controlling the ball, and put them in a situation where they're 1-0 down, which they haven't. Well, they have. They actually were 1-0 down against Orange County, weren't they? They came back to 2-1. So they have been in that experience already this season and managed to come back. Question is, can they do it again against a very, very good Indy 11?
Of course, that goal coming in pretty early in that affair of that game, so you had quite a bit of time, a lot of wiggle room to fight back. Yeah, that goal scored in the 9th minute to give Orange County the lead.
That was the header by Doody. Very, very good header. Unmarked in the box, which caught Lexington out on that occasion.
So can they muster a response? 25 minutes, give or take, to go. Williams spraying it out to the left. Rolling ball centrally, tapped upward. Malik Foster has gotten more involved as the game has gone along. Maintaining his balance here.
He's taking on the whole team himself. He's gone from way on the left side to right across. Now he's he's gassed. He's just going to give it to any red shirt.
Hit that Gatorade bottle already. Indy way more content now, being able to knock the ball around, being able to sit on this 1-0 advantage. Don't need to take anything if they don't like what they see. Now the home team pushing forward once again. Sargent back to Firmino. Blake doing well there. Now the goal scorer, Bruno Rendone. Always so dangerous on that right-hand side. Rolling it across. Chizza tracks it down. Quinn with the service. No one's there to receive it. So goal scored in the 60th minute by Bruno Rendone. Brought in from USL League One, making that jump up the ladder.
I think he's going to be a really good asset to have. Even that last ball a minute ago, place it right into that far post. He saw Edward Chizza's run. He just couldn't find him. But the combination between those two throughout the season, I think, is going to be a valuable one for Indy 11.
Rendone, a player that's super explosive. Sean McCauley said, I mean, what a player. He's exactly what we saw in him at the USL 1 level. He can play in a lot of different positions too, so that is always handy. And on top of that, his personality is fantastic. He puts the team first. As Sean McCauley mentioned, it was pretty tough to get him. He was a pretty popular guy in free agency, but they're happy he's here, and if he keeps improving, there are higher leagues ahead of him, according to Sean McCauley. I think that sentiment is shared by many coaches. I remember talking to Ayman Zayed last year, so the previous coach for Bruno Rendone, and they were incredibly high on him then.
That's a good background to get there. Colorado Hailstorm, it's a good side, a good coach to bring you up through the system.
Foster has Blake to his right. Now Chizza going down the left. Blake takes it himself.
It's two players at the far post have made the run. Chizza and Malik Foster both made the run. Looking at Jack Blake, think just square the ball.
Give us a chance. Goldthorpe, he's shown he's apt with the ball at his feet. Still Goldthorpe, and now the whistle blows. So after that long run from Malik Foster earlier, I think he's run out of gas. So he'll sub out, and Oliver Bernaeus, the Swedish midfielder, will step in. Well, not yet. West 6th Brewing is a proud partner of the Lexington Sporting Club. With dynamic taproom locations all throughout the state of Kentucky, you can enjoy West 6 locally crafted beers for all your adventures. Enjoy a stadium ale the official craft beer of Lexington SC, at all home games or at your favorite retailers around Lexington. "70 minutes through, 20 more to go, plus added time. Bruno Rendone with the difference maker in this one. Meanwhile for Lexington, and one of those players, or the substitutes they brought on, be the difference maker, Elliot Goldthorpe. Been one of those guys, a player that Terry Boss said has been fantastic. Said he came in a touch late to preseason and it took him a little time to get up and running. But as a staff, they're just trying to figure out how do they get that guy onto the field. Blake switches to the right-hand side for Rendone. Bruno Rendone, another go off target.
Jack Blake just pulling the strings there ever so well. We look at him here, heads up, sees that Rendone's in quite a bit of space on that right-hand side. Rendone with a quick flash at goal. In fact, in the first game, it was Jack Blake who had the most shots on target. And he had the most duels won, so he was a really influential player against Miami FC, and he's been fairly influential today as well.
He's seen a lot of the ball as of late in dangerous moments going forward. So Indy 11 early in the game able to weather the storm from Lexington and bunker in and take the flurry of attacks the home side were levying against them. Waited for their opportunity to strike, and strike they did. Jafal out wide to Sargent. Was fishing for Firmino. Here's Jabert. Good find. Rodriguez rolling it back. Sargent makes the run. Lofting this one inside. Epps puts it in. Well dealt with by the defender.
That's a good ball from Josh Sargent. There's some poor defending at the back from Indy 11 to allow him to get that cross in, but excellent ball in, and a good effort on goal by Lexington.
Bernays the substitute. Not on target there. Was looking for Blake. Now it's Rodriguez. The substitute playing it out to Sargent. Firmino taps it back out. And that'll glance for a corner. Taking one for the team there. That never feels good. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app.
Yeah, Mike Watson, Devon Kerr do a really great job on the USL, explaining everything what's going on, and also some good interviews.
Service punched away by Salt. Talking about USL Access, Canardo Forbes, post-retirement.
Yeah, Ken Kenny was on, and then I think Terry Boss was on the week before, if I'm not mistaken.
Might be worth checking out, just saying.
Yeah, they also give a whole description of what's going on in terms of the various games, the news, the latest signings, interviews. If you love the USL Championship, and you got to listen to Mike Watson, Devon Kerr.
Whether you're a league fan or maybe you're a diehard for one of these clubs, but you don't keep tabs on everything else, it's good to know what's going on in the rest of the league.
I wonder if they'll be talking promotion relegation.
Gee, who knows? couldn't possibly imagine. Sargent finds Rodriguez, tap back out. Sliding effort from Gibert. Put it forward temporarily. And now Williams tapping it back to his goalkeeper, Logan Ketterer.
This is fine for Indy 11. They're 1-0 up, 15 minutes to go. They're happy to sort of just keep the ball as far away from their goal as possible. And then when they do defend, they drop into that very, very low block. So now they're going to get all those bodies behind the ball. Just try and just stop any magic from happening from Lexington.
Epps trying to create some magic. And an entanglement goes in favor of the defender.
I don't blame Marcus Epps. I think they were both sort of grappling with each other. Let's have a look at it again and see if there was a push or a pull. Initially, Aiden Stanley gets the right side, and then I just think Marcus Epps turns him around and gets to the ball first.
This is a great angle. Yeah, I don't see anything in that. I mean, Stanley's the one who's doing more grabbing than Epps is.
He's had a good game, Marcus Epps. Really impressed with him tonight. Done that right-hand side. Haven't seen that much down the left in comparison.
Musa drilling it up the field. The home side searching for inspiration. As this game wears along, Indy will be more and more content to sit deeper. I mentioned near the end of the first half the way they drew the line of where they would let Lexington go and where they were going to get engaged. Gibert, early substitute in this match, had to step in for Joe Hafferty after he suffered a collision with Edward Chiza.
I think we heard he got 4 stitches in that eye wound. That's it's going to be a little bit of a nasty one for a few days. It's going to hurt.
Goldthorpe. Service, bending inside! And it won't go in!
Wow, what a save from Salt.
Indy 11 walling off the opportunity. They were right on the doorstep.
That was a fantastic save from Hunter Salt, and the ball was just sort of lying invitingly 2 or 3 yards out, and they couldn't get it over the line, Lexington. What a chance, and vital intervention from the goalkeeper for Indy 11.
The 22-year-old Hunter Salt might be asked to do more here. Rodriguez across to Epps. Epps inside, bends it! It's perfectly placed. It's been a wonderful night for Marcus Epps. And now he's on the score sheet.
That's such a good finish from Marcus Epps, because he cuts inside. They're expecting him to go down the line, which he has most of the night. He cuts inside, and he's got a lot of defenders in front of him, so he's stretching to reach the ball. But even with that stretch, he can still bend it into the far corner past Hunter Salt, who's just made an unbelievable save to stop Lexington from scoring. So they expect him down the right. He cuts inside. He's got 3 or 4 red jerseys in front of him, and he stretches that left leg out and just curls it perfectly into the far corner, and he deserves it. He's been fabulous tonight, has Marcus Epps.
Boy, did that bend and just stroke the side netting. The 30-year-old from Jackson, Mississippi has played with so much fervor this evening. And now he's leveled this one with about 10 minutes to go. And the fans with a perfect view of that one from behind the net. I spot the host of the Crane Kicks Lex podcast there, Tyler Crane. He'll be able to talk about that on his podcast when they do a game recap episode. Musa playing that one up the pitch, and of course the dynamic now changes once again in this game after Indy 11 has been hunkering down for this past stretch.
Yeah, who wants it more? At 1-1, is it going to be Indy who go for the jugular and try and win it, or is it going to be Lexington who now got a bit of energy? They're on the front foot, and they've got Goldthorpe and Rodriguez who've come on as subs fresh, and they'll be hunting around that back line looking for those through balls. So I can see some subs. Maybe Indy going to bring on some fresh legs themselves. So who wants it most?
Fans visit lexsporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. That's lexsporting.com. Maybe get yourself a Marcus Epps jersey. So 2 changes on the aggressive end for Sean McCulley. Elvis Amo and Cam Lindley are in. Edward Chizza and Jack Blake take leave. There will be another night. Edward Chizza doesn't find the back of the net. Of course, still a lot of games left to be played. I know this is an Indy 11 side that are fiending to get him on the board. Sargent. And that one knocked away by Bruno Rendone. Can he keep it in play here? Didn't look like he did. The next home match for the Lexington SC men's team is Saturday, March 29th at 7 p.m. when they take on San Antonio FC. Visit lexsporting.com to purchase your tickets now. Have to play tonight, but so far San Antonio have not conceded a goal. So should be a tall challenge for Terry Boss's side next weekend. If you're a Lexington fan and you're not at the game right now and tuning in here on ESPN Plus, I would implore you to check out San Antonio's game tonight. p.m. Eastern Time kickoff.
A little bit chippy now as both teams want to push for the winner, but at the same time don't want to be on the losing side. And they've made some changes, Indy, with Elvis Amo coming on in particular, Cam Lindley more in midfield, but Amo, they'll see if he can do something up front, try and get that winning goal.
Lindley gets a touch on it there. Now Amo, big target at 6'2". The Ghanaian striker making his way over from Detroit City FC. Getting a draw at home earlier today against Birmingham Legion. And they generate something here. Wind-up effort taken towards goal. That's Oliver Bernays.
That's worth a dip. Has to be a good shot to score, and again, doesn't even hit target. You'd like to see at least a shot forcing Logan Ketcher into some sort of save. Again, you hear coaching staff time and time again, they say hit the target, because once you go over the crossbar, then of course there's nothing for the goalkeeper to do.
Beg them to make the play. Never know what can happen after that. And with about 5 minutes to go plus stoppage time, these two sides searching to see if they can claim all 3 points. Sargent drills that ball centrally. Collected by Epps. More recent goal scorer. Goldthorpe. The substitute of Mo gets there first and wins the throw-in.
Good job, Elvis Samo there on his own up front, battling hard, and turns was just a big kick out of defense into a throw-in. They can slow the game down, Indy, push some numbers up, and that's what you want from your striker.
Crafty from the 33-year-old. Sent up the pitch. Hogan will leave it for his goalkeeper. That's something they're working with Hunter Sultan this season. Looking to gain a more confidence with the ball at his feet. Of course, that's a situation where it's necessitated that he does well with the ball. Lindley, back to Stanley. Sets the cross inside. Rendone was looking for it. And he nearly tracks all the way back to keep it in bounds.
That's the advantage of Rendone, is he's tall as well over 6 foot, which means he's got a great strike and score goals as we've seen already tonight. Plus, if you give him decent service, he can get on the end of a cross.
Long story short, no matter what the context is, feed him the ball. Through the air, on the ground. Put Rendone in dangerous spots. It'll make good things happen for you. Burks. Putting that one ahead for Goldthorpe. And it'll roll harmlessly across the goal line. So if this one does end up being a draw, Gary, who do you think of the two coaches will be more pleased with the result?
Probably Sean McCauley, because it's away from home. It's a really tough game. But to me, it's a fair result. There's not much between the two teams. They've both taken their goal well. And I think Sean McCauley will probably say, you know what, we've played 2 games away. We've won one of them in Miami. We've drawn one here. We've got 4 points on the road. That's not bad. And Terry Boss will think, well, you know what, we're unbeaten. One win and 2 draws, 5 points from the opening 3 games, and a ton of home games to come. So I think both managers will be reasonably pleased without being ecstatic.
I think that's what prompted me to ask the question. Is I don't think either coach can be too heartbroken by the result as it stands right now.
I think there's been good play on both sides. Been some decent movement of the ball around. There's been lots of commitment from players, as we've already seen, with Joe Hafferty being carried off and getting 4 stitches to a head wound. So I think both managers have got the most, the most out of their players that you can get. And again, credit to Lexington. You come in as a expansion side, and your first 3 games are a win and 2 draws. It's against good opposition, and that's credit to them. As we saw last year with Rhode Island, took them a long while to get going. North Carolina too.
Burks washing that one over to Sargent. Tapping it ahead, Firmino. Can't get there first. Hogan with the sliding effort. Knocks it up for a deep throw. Inching further up the pitch here, Lexington. Williams. Thinking about, will drag it to Gibert. Gotta get these passes right here. Some pressure from Indy 11. Rodriguez Picks up the pieces. They've been going there between him and Jafal. So 5 more minutes in this one. One has been an evenly contested matchup. Look out for Epps here. Epps sends it in cross. A close encounter for Bradilio Rodriguez.
Wow, Marcus Epps has given Aiden Stanley an absolute roasting here tonight. He's speedy, drops his shoulder one way and he goes past him. And he's done it time and time again. Aiden Stanley with no support either, so it's just one-on-one, and he beats him, gets it to the near post, and Bradilio, I just wonder if he could have done a bit better there. Maybe it was a bit too high. It was sort of knee height. It's not, it's, you know, if it's around your feet, you can have a shot. It's around your head, you have a head. Around your knee, it's a difficult one to deal with. But again, Marcus Epps, for me, player of the match. Just in terms of given Aiden Stanley, who's a decent defender, has given him a real roasting today.
One great thing about Marcus Epps in particular, it's him and Speedy Williams who are voted as the captains of this side. And the one thing that the two share in common, according to Terry Boss, is that despite both being over 30 years old, there is still that deep desire to learn and grow as players.
Again, it comes back to the whole philosophy of Terry Boss and of most USL coaches, which is we're here to make you a better player and get you up to a higher level like MLS or even potentially higher overseas, if we can do that. Obviously, if you do, it means you're playing well, which suits the club, so both win. Here we go again.
Epps along the byline. Too much juice on that one.
He's went straight past Cam Lindley on that occasion. But as you say, the final pass, unfortunately, after all that good work, he overhits it completely.
Three more minutes to go. Finding Epps, not a bad strategy to search for a breakthrough. Rodriguez lost his balance, falls to Jafal. Firmino gets it poked away. And now here comes Bernays running down. But he has to go up against Speedy Williams. Advantage played.
It's been good pressure from Lexington, forcing Indy to really play on the counter-attack in transition. And Indy, I think, more than happy now to take the point, just settle in, and as they have done, just defend in numbers, try and stop this patient build-up. To be fair to Lexington, been very patient in the way they've looked for opportunities.
Rodriguez takes it himself. Saw a lane, decided to let it rip.
I think next match for Lexington's strategy, get the ball to Marcus Epps.
Oh, yeah.
Figure things out from there.
Well, if I'm a coach of opposing teams looking at the tape, you go, let's circle that in red ink and go, let's make sure that doesn't happen in our game.
We've seen the last few minutes, Cam Lindley's come across to help there as well, because Aiden Stanley got roasted 2 or 3 times in the space of 5 minutes. So Cam Lindley's come across to provide extra sort of defensive cover.
Rodriguez rolls it out to Epps. Marcus Epps sends it inside. Oh, Sargent had the opportunity to have a go at it, and he's given a yellow after the professional foul.
An unnecessary one as well, because there was only one red shirt going forward. Let him go. Maybe you get the ball straight back. Look, he's going nowhere. You've got your own defender waiting to pounce. Now you give, not only do you get a yellow card, but you slow the whole game down. Indy 11 get themselves the free kick. I think he knew it, Josh Sargent. He just immediately put his head in his hands. You can see him shaking his head thinking, why did I do that? But Terry Boss he'll be happy. For the start, before he even started the season, he was probably looking at this match going, wow, Indy 11, fourth in the East. This is going to be a very difficult match. You'll come away thinking, you know what, we probably could have won it in the end. And Marcus Epps created enough chances to maybe have won it, although I still think a draw is probably the fairest of results.
Perhaps the visitors will have one final crack at it. Afemu across the center. It's dribbling in the middle.
Wow, it was a little off chance for Indy to have sneaked it there. You see Elvis Amo is upset because that ball just bounced in front of him.
And that is the last moment in this one. A well-fought battle between Indy 11 and Lexington. A well-earned point apiece between these two sides. We're going to step aside briefly. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up with our post-game thoughts. We'll see you then on ESPN+.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
Here are the full-time highlights from this tightly contested matchup between Lexington SC and Indy 11. Mark Schoenster and Gary Bailey with you here to wrap things up. Bruno Rendone with the opening goal.
What a strike it was with his left foot. Absolutely brilliant. Speedy Williams can't deal with the header here. He knocks it back into the danger area, but nonetheless takes it with his right foot, Rendone, and smashes it onto the other side of the goal.
And then a teasing ball here. Wouldn't make it through until it reached Marcus Epps. He was the magic man tonight.
Oh, he was. He's got 3 red jerseys around him. Rodriguez with the pass. You expect him to go down the line. He cuts inside. He's falling, but as he falls, he reaches out, puts a lot of power behind it, and bends it into that far corner.
So 1-1 would be your final score, and this is how the numbers broke out. Lexington with the edge in the shots on target, possession, corner kicks. So maybe they could have thought they could have claimed 3 points, but overall, these were two teams going at it.
They certainly had the better possession, 2/3, 1/3. But look at the shots on target, 4 versus 3. So a lot of their work didn't end up creating the problems they wanted to. They should have maybe got a bit more on goal for the amount of possession they had and the shots they had. Needed more on target, but nonetheless, really good effort from a Lexington side who's still getting to know each other. 20 new players at the start of the season. That was only 3 matches ago. And Indy, as always, difficult to beat. They're a really good side.
Both teams will be playing at home next weekend. Terry Boss's side against San Antonio. It's Colorado Springs coming to Indy in the home opener for Indy 11. But that is next week. This is the end of our show here on ESPN Plus. For our entire broadcasting crew, Gary Bailey, my name is Mark Schoenster. Thank you for watching. Your final score, Lexington 1, Indy 1. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.